You know what drives me absolutely crazy? Watching people throw money at the stock market while they have credit card debt charging them 22% interest sitting right there laughing at them. It is like trying to fill a bucket with massive holes in the bottom and wondering why you are not making any progress. My name is Adam, MBA, 30 years of real financial experience, and I spend too much time thinking about why most people seem determined to do everything in the wrong order when it comes to building wealth. Here is something that might shock you. According to recent data, 1 in 3 Americans does not even have an emergency fund. The median amount Americans have saved for emergencies is a whopping $500. $500. That's less than most people's monthly car payment, and it's actually down from $600 just a year ago. Meanwhile, these same people are asking whether they should buy individual stocks or cryptocurrency. It's like asking whether you should buy a Ferrari when you don't even have enough money to fix the transmission in your current car. The truth is, there is an optimal order for investing your money that can literally save you tens of thousands of dollars over your lifetime. Today, I'm going to walk you through the exact order you should be investing your money, step by step, so you can maximize your returns while minimizing your risk. And I guarantee some of this is going to surprise you, especially the part about why your employer match should come before almost everything else, and why health savings accounts might be the most powerful investment vehicle most people are completely ignoring. But before we dive into the specific steps, let me tell you why getting this order wrong can be so devastating. Imagine you're building a house. You wouldn't start by picking fancy light fixtures and granite countertops if your foundation was cracked and your roof was leaking. Yet, that's exactly what most people do with their finances. They get excited about investing in the latest trendy ETF while carrying high-interest debt that is guaranteed to destroy any gains they might make. The opportunity cost of getting this wrong is massive. Every month you delay paying off high-interest debt charging you 22% interest, that debt is growing faster than almost any reasonable investment you could expect to make. Step 1. Before you invest a single dollar anywhere, you need to establish an emergency fund. Now, I know this sounds boring. I know you would rather hear about which stocks are going to make you rich, but here's why this matters more than you think. An emergency fund is not just about having money for unexpected expenses, though that's certainly important. It's about creating a psychological safety net that prevents you from making terrible financial decisions when life inevitably throws you a curveball. When your car breaks down or you face an unexpected medical bill, having an emergency fund means you don't have to sell your investments at the worst possible time or rack up high-interest debt to cover the expense. The question everyone asks is, how much should you save for emergencies? The traditional advice is 3 to 6 months of living expenses, but honestly, that range is so broad it's almost useless without knowing your specific situation. Here's what I recommend for most people. Start by saving your first $1,000 as quickly as possible. This covers most minor emergencies and gives you that psychological safety net. Then work toward 1 month of living expenses. Recent research from Vanguard found that people with at least $2,000 in emergency savings had financial well-being scores that were 21% higher than those without any emergency fund. 21%. That was the largest boost linked to any financial factor they measured. $2,000 isn't life-changing money, but the psychological impact of having that buffer is enormous. Think about how differently you would make decisions at work, at home, and with your career if you knew you had $2,000 sitting there waiting. Step 2. Once you have your emergency fund in place, the next step is absolutely critical. You need to eliminate all high-interest debt before you invest anything else. And when I say high-interest debt, I'm talking about anything charging you more than about 8% annually. Credit card debt is the obvious villain here. With average interest rates over 22%, credit card debt is financial cancer. It grows faster than almost any reasonable investment you could expect to make. Carrying credit card debt while investing is like trying to run a marathon with a backpack full of rocks. Mathematically, paying off debt with a guaranteed high interest rate provides a guaranteed return equal to that interest rate. Let me put this in perspective. If you have $5,000 in credit card debt at 22% interest and you make only minimum payments, you'll pay nearly $2,800 in interest over 5 years. That's money that could have been working for you instead of against you. Every dollar you use to pay down that debt is essentially earning you a guaranteed 22% return, which is better than Warren Buffett's long-term average. So every extra dollar you have should go to the highest interest rate first. The strategy for paying off debt efficiently is straightforward. List all your debts with their interest rates and minimum payments. Pay the minimums on everything, then throw every extra dollar at the debt with the highest interest rate. This is the debt avalanche method. Some people prefer the debt snowball method, where you pay off the smallest balances first for psychological motivation. The debt avalanche method saves you more money mathematically, but the best method is the one you'll actually stick to. Here's where it gets interesting, and this might surprise you. There's one major exception to the rule about paying off debt before investing. If your employer offers matching contributions to your retirement plan, you should contribute enough to get the full match even before you finish paying off high-interest debt. This might seem counterintuitive, but the math is compelling. Employer matching is essentially a guaranteed 100% return on your investment up to the match limit. Even if you're carrying credit card debt at 22%, getting a 100% immediate return usually makes sense. Here's a typical example. Your employer offers 50 cents on the dollar up to 6% of your salary. If you earn $50,000 annually, contributing $3,000 gets you $1,500 in free employer match money. That's a 50% immediate return before your investments even grow.
No other investment opportunity can guarantee that kind of return. The key is to contribute just enough to get the full match, then redirect all your extra money back to paying off high-interest debt. Once the debt is gone, increase your retirement contributions.
One important caveat with employer matching: some companies have vesting schedules that determine how long you need to stay with the company to keep the matching funds. Make sure you understand your vesting schedule before assuming that match is permanently yours. This foundation of an emergency fund, debt elimination, and employer matching creates the bedrock of your financial house. Without these pieces in place, everything else you do with investing is essentially building on quicksand. Now we move into what I call the tax optimization zone. And this is where things get really interesting. Most people completely mess this up because they skip right to taxable investment accounts when they should be maximizing every tax advantage option available first. Step 4. Maximize your individual retirement account. And here's why this comes before putting more money into your employer's 401k. Your IRA gives you far more control over your investment choices and typically comes with much lower fees. Corporate 401k plans are notorious for offering a limited menu of expensive mutual funds with management fees that can eat into your returns like termites in a wooden house. With an IRA, you can invest in low-cost indexed funds that charge fees of just a few basis points. For 2026, you can contribute up to $7,000 to an IRA, or up to $8,000 if you're 50 or older. That catch-up contribution is like a participation trophy for getting older, except this one actually helps you retire comfortably. Once you've maxed out your IRA, here's where the decision gets more complex. You need to choose between traditional and Roth versions of these accounts, and the choice can literally save or cost you thousands in taxes over your lifetime. Traditional accounts let you deduct contributions from your current taxable income, but you pay taxes when you withdraw in retirement. Roth accounts make you pay taxes up front, but then all your withdrawals in retirement are completely tax-free. Here is the general rule that works for most people. If you're currently in a high tax bracket and expect to be in a lower one in retirement, choose traditional to get the deduction now. If you're in a lower bracket now but expect higher taxes later, choose Roth to pay the lower rate today. Young people starting their careers should probably lean toward Roth accounts because they're likely in their lowest earning years, and honestly, tax brackets will probably only go up from here. If you're not sure, splitting contributions between both creates tax diversification. If you happen to have access to a health savings account, this is where things get really exciting. HSAs might be the most underutilized investment vehicle in America.
HSAs are like the Swiss Army knife of tax-advantaged accounts, offering not one, not two, but three different tax benefits that make them absolutely incredible for the right people. You get a tax deduction for contributions, just like a traditional IRA. Your money grows tax-free while invested, and here's the kicker that makes HSAs special. Withdrawals for qualified medical expenses are completely tax-free even in retirement. It's the only account with benefits on the way in, while growing, and on the way out. For 2026, you can contribute up to $4,300 to an HSA with individual coverage or up to $8,550 with family coverage. The catch is that you need to have a high deductible health plan to be eligible, which is not right for everyone. Here's the strategy that makes HSAs incredibly powerful. Pay for your current medical expenses out of pocket if you can afford to, and let your HSA money stay invested in the market. Keep all your medical receipts because there's no time limit on when you can reimburse yourself. The math on HSAs can be absolutely stunning. If you max out HSA contributions for 30 years and achieve a 7% annual return, you could have over $400,000 in completely tax-free money available for medical expenses. Given that the average couple retiring today will spend over $300,000 on healthcare throughout retirement, an HSA can essentially make those healthcare costs disappear from your retirement budget. That's like having a secret weapon against one of retirement's biggest financial risks. Step 6. Once you've maxed out your HSA contributions, you go back and max out your 401k contributions beyond the employer match. The 2026 contribution limit is $23,500 for most people, or $31,000 if you're 50 or older. At this point, you're really cooking with gas from a tax perspective. Between your IRA, HSA, and 401k, you could potentially shelter over $35,000 annually from current taxation if you're under 50. That's serious money compounding without the IRS taking their cut every year. Here's something that might surprise you about this whole process. Most people never get past this point. The average American saves about 6% of their income, which usually isn't enough to max out even their employer match and IRA contributions, let alone everything else. But if you're one of those people who can actually work through this entire sequence, congratulations, you're already in the top 5% of savers in America, and you're setting yourself up for a retirement that most people can only dream about. Step 7. The final step. Once you've worked through all those tax-advantaged options, that's when we get to taxable investment accounts. And this is the step that most people want to start with, but now you understand why it comes last. Taxable investment accounts are the Wild West of investing, where you can buy individual stocks, trade options, speculate on cryptocurrency, or just invest in good old index funds without any contribution limits or withdrawal restrictions. But here's the thing about taxable accounts that drives me nuts. People get so excited about the flexibility and unlimited contributions that they completely forget about the tax drag. Every dividend payment gets taxed. Every time you sell a gain, the IRS wants their cut. Let's say you invest $10,000 annually for 30 years. In a tax-advantaged account earning 7%, you end up with about $944,000. In a taxable account with the same return but paying taxes along the way, you end up with closer to $700,000. That's nearly a $244,000 difference just from tax drag. But here's where taxable accounts become genuinely valuable once you've maxed out everything else. They offer complete flexibility. Need money for a house down payment in 5 years? No problem. Want to retire early before you can access your retirement accounts? Taxable accounts give you the bridge.
For taxable accounts, the most tax-efficient approach is to focus on broad index funds and buy and hold strategies that minimize taxable events. The less you trade, the less you trigger capital gains taxes, and the more of your returns you actually keep. So, there you have it, the complete optimal order for investing your money. Let us review the full sequence one more time. Emergency fund first. Protect yourself from life's surprises. Kill all high-interest debt because guaranteed 22% return beats any investment. Then capture every dollar of your employer match because free money is the best investment. Then max your IRA for the lowest fees and most control. Max your HSA if you have one, the only triple tax-advantaged account in existence. Go back and max your 401k, shelter as much from taxes as possible, and only then, after all of that, taxable investment accounts.
Follow this sequence and you will be building wealth while everyone else is still trying to pick the next Tesla or time the next crypto pump. The beautiful thing about this optimal order is that each step builds on the previous ones, creating a financial foundation that gets stronger over time. Your emergency fund prevents you from derailing your progress when life happens. Eliminating high-interest debt stops you from bleeding money to interest payments. Maximizing employer matching gives you guaranteed returns. Tax-advantaged accounts let more of your money compound without government interference. But we are not done yet. Once you've worked through all these tax-advantaged options, that's when we finally get to taxable investment accounts. And there's a very specific strategy for how to approach this that can make the difference between building serious wealth and just having a hobby that occasionally makes money. People get so excited about having access to every investment under the sun in taxable accounts that they think having unlimited options automatically makes them smarter investors. It doesn't. Having more choices just gives you more ways to make mistakes. The tax efficiency of keeping money in retirement accounts versus taxable accounts is absolutely staggering over time. But taxable accounts offer something retirement accounts cannot: complete flexibility with no withdrawal restrictions and no contribution limits. When you do open taxable accounts, after maxing everything else, focus on broad market index funds. They're the most tax-efficient equity investment you can hold. Low turnover means fewer taxable events. Low fees mean more kept in your pocket. Now, some of you are going to ask about individual stock picking, cryptocurrency, options trading, and my answer is the same for all of these. If you want to allocate a small percentage of your taxable account to speculative investments, fine, but never let it exceed 5 to 10% of your total portfolio. The reason I put this limit on speculative investing is not because I'm boring or because I don't understand the excitement of trying to pick winners. It's because I've watched people blow up decades of wealth building in 6 months of bad crypto trades. Your future self is going to be profoundly grateful or profoundly resentful depending on the financial decisions you make today. The difference between someone who follows this optimal investment order and someone who does not is not intelligence. It's discipline. The boring foundational work actually matters. Discipline matters more than intelligence when it comes to building wealth. Most people who are not building wealth are not less smart. They're just less patient and less willing to follow the boring optimal sequence. If this video helped you understand the proper sequence for investing, do me one favor. Share it with one person in your life who you know is putting money into stocks while carrying credit card debt or skipping their employer match. You might literally save them tens of thousands of dollars. Subscribe to Golden Endings for new videos every week. My name is Adam, MBA, 30 years of financial experience, and every single week we break down complex financial strategies into simple, actionable steps you can actually follow. And drop a comment below. Where are you in this investment sequence right now? Are you still building your emergency fund, working on debt, or are you already in the tax optimization zone? I read every single comment and I respond to as many as I can. Your future self is counting on the decisions you make right now. This sequence works. Millions of people have followed this exact path to financial independence, and every step you take today compounds into something extraordinary over time. Start with step 1 today. One more thing before we wrap up. A word about the biggest mistake I see people make even when they know this sequence. They start it, make progress, then lifestyle creep hits and they quietly abandon the system without realizing it. The antidote to lifestyle creep is simple. Every time your income increases, commit to putting at least half of the increase toward the investment sequence before you upgrade your lifestyle. If you get a $5,000 raise, $2,500 goes to the sequence before the rest improves your lifestyle. This one rule can accelerate your wealth building by years. See you again. Take care of yourself.